Pounders, we are back from a wedding weekend, a little luau on Friday night, followed by the wedding on Saturday. Best part about a Hawaiian party is everyone gets laid. All right, now that we got that dad joke out of the way, I had to start with that. 24-hour live stream. If we can hit 1,000 subscribers before NFL kickoff, we are so close. Grinding, and we're not going to stop now. Tonight, we're going to be drafting a $75 pit bull. This is number 4 for me, and I do plan on maxing this. It looks like it's about half full right now. Let me pull this up real quick. If you guys don't already know, we have our free Best Ball Mania 4 draft guide for the subscribers to the YouTube channel. Completely free. Can be found in the Discord. The link is in the description. The link is in the chat. 7 pages of player write-ups followed by just every single player ranked out of the top 216. Some honorable mentions in there too, some nugs. And if you were drafting and you were reading our draft guide, hopefully you were taking Saquon Barkley at pick 20 because he has rifled up the board since. It looks like this may have filled already. I joined and it looks like an insta fill. Pitbull. Let's see who's in here. Oh, we're at the 10. What a standard start for us. We got Ben on the back end, Crash Rich at the 8 spot, Big Slick. This name looks familiar. Nobo Sox looks familiar as well. Everyone else, let me know if you snuck into this draft with us and where you're drafting from. Dave says LFG. Yes, sir. Jeremy, BBM4. Now we're going to be doing a Pitbull tonight. Nate says game time. Absolutely. Absolutely. And just some training camp tidbits that I've been sort of following over the last couple of days. And there wasn't a whole lot. There was a write-up on Kamara, which is interesting. From the beat reporter there, Nick Underhill said Alvin Kamara didn't have all his bursts last season. It's like that was clear. He got with his new trainer, fixed a muscle asymmetry in his legs, learned how to control his heart rate to combat fatigue. Like this is some like Marine type shit. He looks more explosive, and the Saints have the data to prove it. He's going to miss 3 games. Honestly, I think that's actually not the best for Kendre. We were thinking minimum 4 with the upside of missing 6 and who's going to be catching balls during that time. And we didn't think it was going to be Jamal Williams. So Kendre gets 3 games without Kamara. Let's see if he can kind of work out a role and kind of cement himself in that spot. It's all going to depend on himself and Kamara. We'll sort of see. Creamy says no Kamara, no cash. Jerry Jeudy had a 47-yard touchdown in practice today. Ridley, Zay Jones has just been every single time I turn on anything Jags related. Zay Jones is catching touchdowns in practice every single day. I mean, I guess you're going to want a piece of that offense no matter what, though. Zay Jones, like, man, I can't even get behind his price. I'm curious about everyone's thoughts on Zay Jones and where he goes in these drafts. Like, if I don't have him correlated, goes at 125. It's a little more fair now. I think he was tuned up a little more. Now that like Nico Collins goes before him, and now that we have like some of these adjustments taking place at the wide receiver position, maybe it is a little easier to click Zay Jones here, but Mooney even. Myers is having a good camp. And yeah, and Mims has been flying up the board too, plus 12 spots. We can go over some of the biggest risers this week too. I was taking a look at that over on 4 for 4. We see Diggs go off the board. Who are we going to get? I'm cool with going either or. We'll grab A.J. Brown. I think that's an easy click. Philly, I mean, Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown been the main focus in practice. I've seen some steam also on Goddard, but very condensed offense, so it's really not a huge surprise there. Really not a huge surprise. Let me pull up the risers and fallers for the last week. ADP change. Jalen Hyatt up 21 spots. Justin Ross up 17. Marvin Mims up 11. John Mechie up 6.7. Hunter Henry up 6.7. About time. Well, I'm cool with getting Barkley here, to be honest. At 15, either or, to be honest. So 10, you could pinch my arm either way. Let's go Barkley in this spot. Let's go Barkley in this spot. I have plenty of Garrett Wilson. I do think it's interesting. Like, I would probably prefer Barkley over Devontae Adams. I'd probably prefer Barkley over Nick Chubb right now. We'll see. I just saw a little headline. They're asking the coach, who's going to be the third down back in Cleveland? He's like, might be Nick. It might be Jerome. It's like, oh shit. Like if Nick Chubb is the third down back, he's gonna be in the running for top 3. Easy. Potential number 1 overall. Just with the lack of competition there. But where was I? Gus Edwards up 6 spots and Kincaid up 5. There's your little daily report for that. How about this? Fallers. Biggest fallers. Tim Patrick, get out of here. Oh my God. Tyquan Thornton has fallen 16 spots. Kadarius Toney has fallen again, another 8. Ty Chandler has fallen 7.5. Mike Gesicki 7. J.K. Dobbins 6 and Chiggy 6. Juwan Johnson continues to fall. Welcome back from Hawaii. It was a sick wedding. Besides golf getting canceled after 4 holes on Friday, it was a fun wedding. Like they straight from Hawaii, literally smell like a rose garden. A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley start. Got to remember, this is also it's a relatively new contest, so old ADPs don't really matter. So I still think being able to get Barkley here at 15 is nice for us. First QB off the board, Jalen Hurts. I'll cover this real quick. It's gonna be 2 out of 12 teams advance, and then it gets repooled to a 10 team week 15. And then you're going to be pulled in 2 out of 10 advance to week 16. Week 16, 1 out of 10 advance to week 17. And you'll be pulled with 25 players, 25 teams. So minimum payout's 1,500 and you're playing for 120K. This would be the ultimate sweat. Such a small finals, the ultimate sweat. Let's see what Ben's. CeeDee Lamb and Devonta Adams start. No surprise there from Ben. Always pissing. Always get the hog out. Crash Rich going Diggs and Waddle. It's fun as well. JT goes off the board at 24. Yeah, Nate says he loves the structure of the pit bull. I do too. I really do too. And even the payouts like 120, then 60, and just short of 40, 25, 20, 15. The drop off isn't too ridiculous. BBM, you go from 3 million to 1 million. So here's a little more gradual fall. So it'll be fun. This is a fun one. 7,500 entrance, and we're 45% full. So I do have to catch up a little bit. But we'll get some more of these streams going. If you guys can go down, drop a like on the live stream. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications if you want to jump in these live drafts with us. And let's get it going. We're going north of 800 drafts pretty soon this offseason, like an absolute sicko. It's fine. Don't tell my wife. Piners are taking something big down. Multiple things. Calvin Ridley off at 29. Actually falling after ADP for the first time in what feels like forever. Jackson says Barkley in these tournaments where no one has third round Barkley is nice. Exactly. Where everyone's on a clean slate. Barkley at 15 feels way too good. And let's see what you guys are leaving me. I'd gladly take Cooper here, but if Cooper's gone, we can go Jameer. Have to think about this one, to be honest. We'd be picking at 39 to this is an auto pick, huh? Is this guy an auto? Uh-oh. Hmm. Hmm, hmm, hmm. I think we go Gibbs here. My exposure to Gibbs isn't the highest, so we'll sort of even it out on a higher entry fee tournament. Our next pick has to be a receiver. And then we're picking at 58 and 63, still good ranges for wide receivers. If we can pull in like JSN with that pick, maybe we go with Seattle double there. Maybe we pull in elite tight end with the next two. But this one definitely has to be a receiver. Keenan Allen off the board. This might just be a Terry pick. This might just be a Terry pick. Pick at 58. Yeah, we're going to max this one, Davis. We're going to go Terry here. He's another one I need a little more exposure to before the end of draft season here. So a couple exposure smooth out picks there. We'll see what comes back to us as well. I'd love to get as much fields in this tournament, especially as possible, but I don't want to force anything. And if Keenan Allen falls to us, I'm okay with going Keenan Allen there at 39 and then trying to get Herbert to fall back to us 5 picks after ADP, but that doesn't happen. Yeah, this is our fourth draft for the Pitbull. You really just want to focus on advance rates. In my opinion, you don't need to shoot for like the ultimate ceiling type team. You just really want to focus on advancing as many teams as possible and just push to the finals where the finals is 25 teams. So it's not like you have to do anything crazy to stick out from 24 other rosters. So you really don't need to force anything. You don't need to force uniqueness. You really just want to draft it, in my opinion, like a cash game. Sure, you want to have your takes correlated. You want to have your correlation with your QBs. Not as worried about bringbacks unless it's a game that you really believe in that's going to smash week 17. Logan going with the 1-2-1 starts kind of. We'll see how this team. If this isn't a receiver, this team could be in trouble. Same thing with this team. No badges, so they could just be going crazy. We'll see what they do with these 2 picks. A lot of casuals. Notice a ton of casuals back on the site right now, which is awesome. It's August, baby. It's August. What if I zoom in one? Does that help? A little better for everybody's eyes. Stop the eye strain. Hola, hola, hola. Aloha. Jesus. The sun got me. The sun definitely got me. Drake London off the board at 48. That's a nice little scoop there, to be honest. It's a small ADP advantage, but it feels good. Yeah, Terry and Tyler Lockett are probably the 2 most disrespected wide receivers every single offseason. It's like they have to reprove themselves every year. And then come draft season, we just disrespect them again. So I'm showing a little love to Terry here. Let's see these 3 teams. especially these 2 need a wide receiver. We'll see what they do, though. Kirk and Ayuk on the board still. I think after that, there is a tier drop off, but we're hoping that basically JSN, Godwin, or Lockett makes it back to us. Maybe 2 of these guys would be nice. What do you mind bringing in Kittle with this team? We'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens. This guy on auto too? Is this a J Fields pick? Oh my god. Okay. Something to keep an eye on here. Guy already took 2 elite QBs. This team gets Ayuk, which I think's really solid. Really, really solid. Sort of saves his draft in a way, in my opinion. Kenneth Walker off at 53, Aaron Jones off at 54. I'm trying to wrap my head around Aaron Jones this season. Like, is he the dead zone back? Is he like the classic dead zone back? Been sort of soft fading Aaron Jones and just going with AJ Dillon at like 104. He's at 101 now. Being steamed. Okay, Deontay Johnson off the board. I'd love to get JSN here. I gotta stick to my guns, man. I gotta stick to my guns. Let's go Tyler Lockett. Just based on the offense. That's really like if Chris Godwin had a QB, not to say Geno Smith is the freaking next Patrick Mahomes, but comeback player of the year last year. They had a great connection, like 74% completion rate. Doesn't take a whole lot for Lockett to spike. We'll see. And I'd probably just rather Mike Evans at 66 for that spike potential. But let's see. When's our next 2 picks? Because I think that's important to look at. 82 and 87. And what would we be doing in that range? Zay Flowers, Cooks, Burks. Like, I like this range for wide receivers. I'm fine with this range. Because I do want to get before this Elijah Moore pick comes off the board, I want to have at least 4 receivers in every draft. Like, it doesn't matter what draft. If you don't have your 4th receiver and everyone, you're like looking at this. Now Sutton's been steamed up a little bit in practice right now. He's been having good practice. Trey Spiller says he likes Flowers and Moore. We'll see about Sky. He didn't prove anything last year, and Tony wasn't playing. So the fact that we're steaming up Sky because of a Tony injury, I get it. First year, now it's his second. I'm cool. Just spike week, guys. I'm cool with that. Pang, yeah. Dave says Sutton might be the cutoff on tier if he keeps getting the steam, and that's what's happening. He's just having good practices. So Tim Patrick not being there again. We'll see what Marvin Mims can work out for a role. Alexander Madison off the board at 65. Waller goes off super early now, right? 74. Because I wouldn't even mind doing like a Waller Danny Dimes with this pick here, 106, because Dimes is around that ADP. Yeah, I would scoop him there if I had Waller. We'll see if he falls to us. Brees Hall, it's tough. It's tough. We still don't have the news on Dalvin. If Dalvin goes to the Jets, it does hurt Brees. I mean, he would likely get what? For like the highest upside for Brees, 60% of the work against Dalvin Cook. I think it'd be closer to like 55-45 split. Obviously, Dalvin would get the heavier of that early into the season while Brees is still recovering. But when we think about the fantasy football playoffs, if Dalvin ends up in New York, and if he doesn't, like the Brees scoops are really good. And it probably tells you a lot about his health too if they don't force Dalvin Cook there. Aaron Rodgers takes a pay cut, so they have money to work with. Sometimes teams, when they don't act on a player, they don't overpay him. It could speak to the health of Brees there. We'll see. Yeah, GA007 says Dalvin would get the goal line touches at least to start. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Even if Brees was ready and Dalvin Cook comes back, you're not going to give Brees Hall like 20 touches when Dalvin's there. So early into the season, at least. Early into the season. Would have loved to get JSN here just for a little exposure mix up, but it's fine. Sometimes you get on these rants of like teams that you just consistently click people that you're not usually clicking, and that's just these two for me. I'd love to get Waller on this squad. I don't see it happening though. Could just go 3 late QBs, 3 late tight ends. Could go Deshaun Watson and Elijah Moore, and then try to get an Njoku with 106, and his ADP is 106. It just helps when you know, like, QBs, their ADPs, tight ends, and then, like, your draft position, right? If you're in certain draft positions, like, it's hard to get Justin Fields from the 12th spot unless you're reaching, just due to the way ADPs fall. So Ben already has a QB. Not that he wouldn't go a second elite QB because he's a sicko. Um, I believe this guy has Amari, so he might go Deshaun right here. This could be a Deshaun pick. And if it is, he goes Burks. Ah, okay. I do want one of these guys, but let's go with Connor here. Let's go with Connor. Super elite at RB. We have a lot of draft capital at RB right now. Like, I don't see us touching RB until like round 15. It does kind of put us our back around the like against the wall if we do get a falling ADP at running back anywhere in the next 5 picks. It's going to be really difficult to select them. So I don't really like doing this too often. Davis, Davis in the chat. Oh God. That Connor exposure, my friend, you're at like what, 44% or something? Buddy, you have enough receivers. Do us all a favor. Honestly, we could go either one, and you could just hope to get in a joke on the way back around. Um, let's and again, playing this more like a cash game, in my opinion. Let's go Elijah Moore here. My Connor exposure is high. It's not as high as Davis, but if I check for BBM, we are above 20%. He's one of my players that's above 20%. He just fits in so many different roster constructions, like 0 RB. If your first RB is James Conner, if he can provide top 12 numbers like he did last season with Colt McCoy, it's an interesting build. We've done a couple of those, and you just stack at all of the positions. Kenta Ingram season, I think I just saw something on Ingram, like, injury related. I'll have to pull that back up. Yeah, James Conner is, he's a value at this point. He's definitely a value. Now we just have to it's probably gonna be a 3 QB team at this point. It's probably gonna be a 3 tight end team, and I'm fine with that when we're strong at running back, when we're strong at wide receiver. Just focus on basically advancing for these. That's my honest opinion. 2 out of 12, 2 out of 10, 1 out of 10, and then a 25-person final. Advance as many teams as possible. Let's find those value tight ends. Let's find those value QBs because there's plenty of value QBs. That's for sure. Texan says, on that note, do you think reaching for unique stacks is more viable in short tournaments like this? I do, but it's not a super deep tournament. So I don't feel the need to have to do that. Like if this was 40,000, 50,000, 80,000, even like the puppies in the 100,000s, those filled quick too. Um, I think with that many entrants, there is a little more sexiness to mixing it up and getting a little unique. Maybe doing something random like going CeeDee Lamb and Pollard. You know what I mean? But I don't find there to be a huge advantage in this tournament where there's only 7,500 entrants. The finals is only 25 teams. So you just want to make the plus EV pick, in my opinion. Evan Ingram off the board, AJ Dillon gone. Ben with CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, Brees Hall, Lamar Jackson, Chris Godwin, George Kittle, Rashad White, and Brandon Cooks. I like that build so far. I like that build. Crash Rich with Diggs, Waddle, Josh Jacobs, ETN, Deontay Johnson, Alexander Madison, David Montgomery, Deshaun Watson. So very heavy on RBs. Very heavy. Might be done at RB. We'll see. We'll see what he does. Kirk Cousins off the board at 105. Ah, what? Like what? What? Let's go Danny Dimes here. Let's go Danny Dimes here. Correlated with Barkley, we can also pick up a receiver on the back end. And honestly, we could add in A-Rich to this team. We can add in one of these tight ends. That's kind of what I'd be looking at. A-Rich gone? Love that. Yeah, it's interesting. Like say Davis said, I've been reaching out of round 3 lately to grab more round 4 and just like being able to grab 2 players in that range where other teams can only get 1. This is gonna be a Freiermuth pick. I wanted to secure Barkley, but I wasn't sure if Ben would go a second tight end. I actually like that for his team, so I can't knock him. I'd like to knock him. I can't. Um, Nico. Ugh, that's pain. Let's bring in Nico Collins here. We're strong at receiver, so this will probably be so we have 6. We'll probably be done with 7, to be honest. If we're done with 7 receivers, we can go 3 QBs, we can go 3 tight ends, and end with what? 5 running backs? And that would fit the bill. That would fit the bill. Damn, I did want one of those too. It's alright. If I go Njoku or I go Freiermuth and Danny Dimes gets picked, I'm more mad at myself in that situation than I am this one. We have the correlated Barkley and Jones. I think that's the right play to just secure that. Are there any teams doing crazy, crazy, crazy shit? He went Hurts and Fields, but it looks like he's sort of recovered. He has 3 receivers still through 9 rounds. He brings in Dobbs, so it's 4. I'd still say that's gonna be a tough to come back from. This team looks normal. Everyone on the back end looks normal. This pick was so random. And then the Rodgers pick. Okay, Rodgers was correlated. It makes 100 times more sense than the random Kirk Cousins pick. Yeah, Trey, I like the JMO pick too. I really do. I'm gonna be heavy on JMO this year. Greg Dulcich off at 121. We've seen him get a small boost with the Tim Patrick injury. I think that's correct. I think that's correct. Juju 122. I will say this is one of the slower drafts. Really making us sweat. Really making us sweat. I'm already thinking of QBs. We could bring in Sam Howell, but honestly, kind of hoping we would get. Let's see if it happens. He's already gone. Where'd he go? Where'd he get picked? 102? Gino? Okay, so Gino went off 13 picks early. I didn't even see that. Gino went off here. This probably would have been a Gino pick if he was on the board. I would have double tapped QB. And I probably have done it QB if I do that. But he goes off 13 picks early to the DK team. Okay. Can't knock him. Again, want to. Can't do it. Okay. Let's see what Rand does. Oh, man. I can't. I want to. I can't. I think Tank's a good click here. Jalen Warren, Tyler Algier's actually been steamed. We could reach out. We could grab our first tight end too in Schultz. I want Tank first. Let's get Tank. If we do bring in Schultz, we'll have a little Houston correlation. Maybe we target the rookie, Stroud. Scoot likes the Goff click. I don't mind the Goff click here. Again, this is going to be played more like a cash game. I don't think you have to over correlate. Sure, you want a single stack. But again, 24 teams you're playing against, so it doesn't have to be a ridiculous upside. Even just like a Goff and Laporta would be fine. I think you can stop with Goff and Daniel Jones. It's not the sexiest 2 to stop with, but let's bring in one of these 2 tight ends here. All right. I don't click Schultz a whole lot. Let's add him to the squad. Let's add him to the squad. More of like a catch and fall type tight end. They're definitely securing the targets in Houston with Nico and Schultz. Is this team done at receiver just with Hyatt, Collins, Moore, Evan? I think so. Week 5's tough, but who cares? Would still have 4 receivers with Hyatt. I would rather it be a later bye week with the rookie having to fill in, but it's okay. Just something small to think about. Mooney off the board at 137. I think this is kinda disrespectful to Mooney. And Justin Fields has been on fire in practice, fitting the ball in tight windows. A lot of great passes to DJ Moore. Definitely be the favorite over there, but there's room for Mooney, and there's room for Kmet. Saw Kmet had a touchdown catch today. We'll see if he makes it back to us. I'd love to get Kmet on this team, but he'd have to fall 5 picks. Ben says just got Mooney at 167 in weekly winners. What the what? Yeah, Chip says Mooney's criminally undervalued. That's the way I feel about it. We see Kmet go off at 144. I like Kmet too at his ADP. Kmet actually goes off the board before Chiggy here. Oh, no. I don't think he outscores DJ Moore. I can't like, you want me to give you odds? I'd say 10% if both were healthy and played the same amount of games. We can go even like points per game basis. I say there's a 10% chance Mooney outscores DJ Moore. Mooney's gonna be a great number 2. He had a great rookie season. Last year, the whole offense was off, so it's really tough to be tough on Mooney. But I think he can be a great, great, great number 2. DJ Chark's been one of the favorite targets in Carolina. I know Ben likes that. I know Ben likes that for his DJ Chark's shares. But honestly, another one like Terrace Marshall at the end of drafts right now, just completely free. I'm surprised Terrace Marshall wasn't on the list of risers because he's on my list of risers personally. Candyman in the house, Fancy Football Garage says always grab Mooney on my Fields teams. Yeah, it's an easy click. Give us Chig. Come on. Let the Chig train come back to us. Otherwise, I can just finish off my RB room, to be honest. I could just finish off the RB room. This is going to be 5 RBs. Oh, no. Tell me you didn't auto. Does the spam click work? Let's go. Full round of value on Chiggy. Same bye week. No worries. Also opens up a little Tannehill late for the boys. Tannehill would be perfect for this team. Late QB. I think he's probably the most undervalued QB based on ADP. We could double tap Sam Howell and Tannehill at the end of this draft and just feel like $1,000,000. Maybe not 1,000,000, but pretty close. Rashid Shaheed actually injured his groin. So I dropped a nugget in the Founders Pounders Discord channel, one for the Patreon members. Vegas Insider, Vegas odds had Shaheed at like plus 8,000 to finish with the most yards. And it was around studs. Let's go. Do we go RB here? I'm reaching on Gus, heavily reaching on Gus here because I want another player in that range. When you look at it, I wanna go either Hyatt. It's like, I'm gonna need a lot of late players. It's like Hyatt or Slayton for receivers. I want Tannehill and Howell. I also wanted Gus to finish off this room. I didn't wanna go another rookie. I think Gus fits this team really well. So we're picking at 178 and 183. 178. Hyatt fits right there. So again, if I wanted Gus, I don't think I'd be able to get both of them just based on their ADP. I love this. It looks dumb, but I wasn't gonna be able to get both of these players, and I want both of them on this team. And then at 183, I wouldn't even mind reaching up and getting one of my QBs. If Hyatt goes, I'm not even like a super fan of Paris Campbell. I'd rather probably just take Slayton on the back end at 203. So like this is what it's looking like right now. Whoa. Whoa. We hit the zoom. We hit the zoom. So I want so we need one tight end to finish this. We need 2 QBs and 1 receiver. And this team's done. That's what it's looking like, fellas. That's what it's looking like. If you guys haven't already, go down, drop a like on the live stream. Smash the subscribe. We need what? We're like 225 away from doing a 24-hour live stream. Put me through the punishment. I'm ready for it. Who do I want my last tight end to be on this team? It's probably gonna be like a last round Hunter Henry. Could be McBride. I'm fine with that click as well. I'm fine with the likely. I'm fine with even Kate Otten, to be honest. Conklin for the bye week, bros. 3 bye week 7s wouldn't be my favorite, to be honest. It wouldn't be my favorite. To some extent, I might be a bye week bro. To some extent. In a 2 out of 12 advance tournament, makes a little more of a difference. But I guess Rashid Shaheed, groin injury. I think he was dealing with a similar injury in OTAs as well. So it's not awesome. It's not awesome. Luckily, there's a ton of time to heal up. And I'd expect, or I'd at least hope that he plays in one of those preseason games. Jalen Hyatt goes at 171. Hodgins is still on the board too. Curtis Samuel's still on the board. If we are going to go Howell, they'd give us a double. That wouldn't be the worst pick either. I don't need to absolutely force the correlation with Jones. I do, however, like the Slayton click. Like, I don't mind if I had to finish like this with one of these. Even Matt Collins, to be honest, but I don't think he'll get to that. Hodgins goes off the board at 173. Purdy's still on the board. I'd much rather Purdy over Sam Howell. So let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens here. Not a condensed offense can easily spread the ball and spike. This is going to be, we're going to make some moves here. It's going to be interesting. If we get back to this spot right here and Gus Edwards is gone, I'm mad that I didn't reach on Gus Edwards. Let's just take a quick peek. I'm cool with going Purdy here. Almost a full round value. Don't care that it's unstacked. This is exactly how I would draft the Mastiff too. Not overly concerned about getting stacks or forcing correlation, just really focusing on advancing and still gonna have upside for week 17. It's much easier to hit a multi-person parlay when you only have to face 24 other teams versus BBM where it's 441 team final. That's when you need your stacks, your double stacks, your bringbacks, stuff like that. Ben goes Chase Brown, no surprise here. We're seeing a 2.752 so far. Wow. Probably gonna end it with 2 receivers, I would think. So 2.772, which I actually like that build. I don't mind that at all. If we don't go shit, let's just hope we get Slayton here at 202 because I don't think Tannehill comes back to us. I feel really good about the QBs. I feel good about the QBs. Tight end will be the weak spot on this team. But even if I get did Hunter Henry go off the board? Hunter Henry just got drafted at 185 by Crash Rich. 21 picks before ADP. I believe Crash is a Pats fan too. So that might have something to do with it. Honestly, probably where he should be going in drafts. 185. Now, I'm probably still going Knox over Hunter Henry, but after Knox is off the board, I prefer Henry. We could do something crazy, but I'd rather do this like a Bellinger click in a puppy where there are so many teams and everyone's drafting Waller, and you just take a small bet that Waller gets injured and Bellinger becomes the guy. Bellinger looks like an absolute freak right now. Dude's whipped into shape. All right, so let's sort of get this organized. All these are great clicks right now at the end of drafts too. One could argue this could be a 4 tight end team too. I wouldn't hate that take if someone said you need 4. I don't think I'd disagree. Nez, welcome to the live stream. How much Gainwell? Under 2% Gainwell. Only taking him after he drops. You need injuries. You need multiple injuries. Like the team still has Boston Scott too. Like yeah, like Gainwell had a good playoffs, but then the team went and added 2 RBs. Yes, super cheap, basically free, but they're excelling in practice. Rashad Penny has like a 6.4 yards per touch average. And then Swifty's gonna take the 3rd down role. So I don't know. I think it's thin for Gainwell. And he's been all over the board. Even in the big board, I was fading him because completely assumed that even if Miles Sanders moved on, that they were gonna bring someone in, and they brought 2 people in. So I've been a Gainwell fader. Kenny Gainsell, as we call him. Tamara Douglas getting steamed up in camp too. Let's see if we get him to fall back to us. Boston Scott, the Giant Slayer. The Giant Slayer. Oh my god. Claypool off the board. I don't mind. I'm coming around to the Claypool click just as like a red zone guy, half point PPR. Probably only doing it when it's correlated. Slayton goes, that's fine. That's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's everything's fine. I'm okay. Fuck. Everything's fine. Oh man. I don't love that, to be honest. I don't love it. Is Trey McBride practicing yet? Hardman off the board. He needs another tight end. Let's go with Trey McBride. I would feel so much better if it was like Knox or Hunter Henry even, which is weird. Terrace Marshall. Making a small bet already on Arizona. Same thing with Tampa Bay, though. Let's go with the Puka bring back in the Giants game. So we get a couple snipes here. High, which was expected, I guess. Hyatt's been a riser, so it's kind of tough to get him at ADP. Slayton goes a few picks before us. Hunter Henry goes way before ADP, but I can't blame Rich for doing that. 206 could have fell back to us here. That would have been nice. Tougher rooms though. Like Pipples are not going to be easy, especially on the back end. You sort of have to take what comes to you. I'm happy with our QBs. I think tight ends could have been a little better, and I'm fine with our receivers. Like you could honestly stop at 6 with Brown, McLaurin, Lockett, Evans, Moore, Nico. Now, Mike Evans he's a 0 5 weeks out of the year, basically. Elijah Moore, there's gonna be some questions, but I like Elijah Moore right now, his ADP. Nico Collins getting a little rich at this spot, but like I'd probably rather Mooney at his ADP over Nico, like 20 picks earlier. Had we known that Mooney would fall back to us in that next round, in hindsight, we'd probably rather Mooney. In running backs, I think are strong. Barkley, Gibbs, Connor, Tank Bigsby, and Gus Edwards. QBs, Daniel Jones, Brock Purdy, Ryan Tannehill, Schultz, Shiggy, McBride. Not gonna lie, don't love this team. Not gonna lie. 99% of the time I leave a draft and I like the team. This is one of those times that I don't, and that's okay. Sometimes you can have drafts like this. Balls. Let's cover Ben squad. What's the way for this to finish though? 'Cause I like to pull it up here. We might have raked this one, fellas. We might have raked this one. And I don't even dislike the Gus pick. Like, that just wraps up my room. Like, what am I gonna go Jalen Hyatt there, I guess, at 159? Like, that's just as gross. And then if Gus isn't there on the way back around, sure, you can stop with this and what, Chuba Hubbard or Malik Davis or whoever your favorite last round pick is, but yeah, let's take a peek at Ben's team. Ben, hopefully you did better than me. I think you did. Lamar and Goff, I like that pairing. Kittle and Njoku stopping at 2, I think is fine with those. And then you went 7 RBs, 7 receivers. Hall, White, Algier, Singletary, Foreman, Chuba Hubbard, and Chase Brown. I like the group. Like, they'll get you through even if Breece Hall misses the first, 3 weeks, whatever. Lamb, Adams, Godwin, Brandon Cooks, JMO, Tyquan Thornton, Terrace Marshall. I like the group too. I think you have enough to get you through the first 6 weeks. Um, Especially like Lamb so steady, Adams is steady. We'll see with Godwin with either Baker or Trask, but he's usually a steady guy anyways. And I mean, the average depth of like target for Godwin was down so much last season with Brady. If they can get that A dot back up, and that had to just be like a Brady preference type offense where it's like short, quick passes, and it was gross. It was gross for their receivers. Uh, I think that number will increase for Godwin this year. Now the passes won't be as accurate, so there's like a downfall there too, but should be pretty steady. And Terrace Marshall, I like that click at the end of drafts right now. Probably shouldn't be queuing my players, but for the boys. Deshaun Watson and Tua, I like this pairing as well for Crash, for Rich. Kincaid, Henry, and Likely, I like this tight end pairing too, to be honest. RBs, Jacobs, ETN, Alexander Madison, David Montgomery, and Kendra. I think this is super balanced. I don't love ETN as ADP, but I think this is pretty balanced. And Diggs, Waddle, Deontay Johnson, Beckham, Mooney, DPJ, Justin Ross, and Quez Watkins. Receiver room's a little thin. It's definitely a little thin. Got DPJ for the correlation. Good snag there. Odell, Mooney at 137. That feels good. Johnson, nice steady floor. So yeah, I think the room makes sense. Maybe just a little weak there, but you're strong everywhere else. I think that's the only other pounder that got in this draft with us. Alex in the live stream says, let me pull this up. Where is it? Thoughts on my favorite puppy 2 team? CMC, Bijan, Josh Jacobs, Lenny, and CEH, Herbert and Carr, Michael Thomas, Deontay Johnson, Juju, Odell, Rondell, Paris, Campbell, Hyatt, Waller, Schultz. I think it's good. I think it's strong. It's not overly correlated. Like, you have Juwan Johnson with Carr and then Herbert. I don't think you have a stack, right? It seems strong. Like the RBs are so strong. CMC, Bijan, like that's sick. And there were some rooms where like early on the big board you could get Bijan like at 18, and then in some rooms he would go first overall. It was so painful for Bijan. But he says no stack Herbert, but MT. Oh, right. The MT. Yeah, missed that one. Very nice. Very nice. Guys, thank you for coming out tonight. Tomorrow, I think we're gonna be doing 2 of these. So hopefully that goes better. But if you enjoyed tonight's stream, drop a like on the way out. Drop a comment if you're feeling generous, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Pounders.